Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back here to my sort of weekly kind of NBA Q&A. I do ask you guys on Twitter. I ask you guys any type of NBA questions you want me to answer over on my Twitter, which is twitter.com/6ringofsteel. Link is in the description if you want to be featured in the next one. I'm going to answer about 10 or so questions today, and if you want to be part of the next one. I'm sorry if you're not going to be answering this one. I'm only picking like 10 or 12, and we got 237 replies, so you can see the odds of getting picked here. So yeah, if you want to be featured in the next one, go follow my Twitter. I'll tweet out. I'll probably do one sometime next week, obviously. And yeah, so let's get started into this Q&A. First one comes from Vincent. He goes, who will be the first Warrior to go? And this is an interesting question. I really like this one. Now, it all depends on obviously how the season plays out, so I can't really see into the future. But if I had to bet like all my money on one person, it would be DeMarcus Cousins, just for the fact that they win a title this year. He moves on, gets his max deal from another team. That's the guy that moves on. So I could say him. Now, if Draymond Green was a free agent this summer, not Klay Thompson, I think I would say Draymond Green. And they might be like, oh, we're going to bring back Cousins instead. But I don't even know if they're going to have bird rights on Cousins. So I think if I had to bet like all my money, I'd bet Cousins. I think it's going to be Cousins. Now, if we had to say the second Warrior to go, I could see them just re-signing Klay. I think they're going to re-sign Klay this offseason. I don't see Klay leaving them. I think he loves it there. There's no point. They can still offer him the most money. So I think they're going to let Cousins walk, take Klay, and it all depends on what they're going to do. If KD leaves, that could be interesting, but if I had to bet my money, it would be Cousins. Second question comes from Brendan Katz. He goes, what team do you think will overperform and what team do you think will underperform? I like this question a lot. Underperform, I think it's between two teams. I think, honestly, I'll do one from the East, one from the West for both of these. East, I'm going to say I think overperform will be the Sixers. I feel like people have too high of expectations for them. I see them being the 4th seed, but I think people think they're the second best team in the East. So I think they're a team that can overperform. And wait, no, that would make them underperform. That would make them underperform. I'm stupid. So that's underperform. I also think that Jazz in the Western Conference, they can underperform. I feel like we have a lot of high expectations. People think they could be the 4th seed. I think 5 or 6 is good for them. I think they'll maybe underperform a tad bit of what we're expecting them to do. And if we had to go to overperform, I could see if we get a full year from John Wall and Bradley Beal, fully healthy, and then Dwight Howard there, I think they can overperform a little bit. I could see them being a 6th seed guaranteed. I don't think they'll shoot up there. I don't think really anybody else in the East would overperform. Maybe Detroit if they surprise a bunch of people, but yeah, I would say Washington. And if we had to go to the Western Conference team that I think can overperform, I would say maybe like Denver could be a sneaky team that could do better than expectations, or San Antonio. Brian X, what is one older NBA moment pre-Twitter that you wish Twitter was around for? And I think this would be most people's. It'd be Malice at the Palace, the Pacers versus Pistons brawl. Twitter goes nuts over the secret tunnel thing in LA, and that is nothing. Like, people get like Twitter goes sort of nuts, like when like NBA players fight in game, like when Westbrook and KD go at it, or like Draymond and Rondo from this past like playoff postseason. But like, imagine Twitter was around for the Pacers-Pistons brawl in 2004, Malice at the Palace. It would have been nuts. That's what I wish Twitter was big for. Any other ones that kind of come to my head? That's the one that definitely comes to my head. So yeah, I would say the Malice at the Palace is definitely the NBA event that I wish was around when Twitter was big. Jeep Games YouTube X, if you had to keep either Draymond or Klay, who you keep and why? So I'm guessing obviously this is just you're the Warriors. I'm not going to put ourselves into any other perspective. So say Draymond and Klay are both free agents this year and you can only keep one. It's tough. It's really tough. I think Draymond is the better player. I still really like Draymond. A lot of people think he's so overrated. I don't. I still think Draymond is an elite basketball player. I think he's the second best power forward in the league. I think he's a top 20 player, hands down. But I don't know. See, now, like, the culture of Klay and, like, just how many times he saves the Warriors' asses when Curry has a bad shooting night and, like, Draymond doesn't do anything and KD doesn't have a good night. Like, Klay is always that guy just to perform, always to knock down that big shot for you. It's tough. I think I would personally rather have Draymond, just because you kind of you obviously have Curry and KD that can get you done offensively. Klay's a good defender too. That's what makes it tough, because like that's the one thing obviously Draymond excels at is his defense. It's elite. It's one of the best of all time. I don't know. I would say Draymond, but it's super close. And I would say Draymond just for the ability for him to run that offense, rebound, play defense, just better than Klay. And obviously I think he's a better defender than Klay is, and Klay's a good defender. So really all you have is Klay is scoring, but you don't need scoring because you have KD and Curry. So I would pick Draymond. God Lize X, what do you think about the Denver Nuggets ceiling? Do you think they could potentially be the best team in the West? No, I don't think they could ever be the best team in the West anytime soon, at least. But I think their peak, I think this year they're definitely a playoff team. I'm putting them in my predictions to make the playoffs in the tough West as a 7 or an 8 seed, because we all know how tough the West is. They're not going to be better than the Warriors or Rockets or Thunder or even Spurs anytime soon. But I do like what the Nuggets are doing. I think in a year or two they could push for a 3 seed or a 4 seed in the West, but I don't see them ever getting past Golden State. And yeah, I would say their peak in like their next like 5-year cap could be the 4 or 3 seed. Adam X, which of the top 10 lottery teams this year can you see having the best season with their new additions on draft night? So I'm guessing this is obviously, I don't know, I'm not going to put the Sixers in here because obviously the Sixers are the best team out of this draft and it wasn't their pick. So I'm going to go everybody with their former pick or with their current pick. So it wasn't from another team. So we're going to go top 9. I'm going to say the Memphis Grizzlies. I think the Memphis Grizzlies can push for a playoff spot next year as an 8 or a 7 seed. I don't know about a 6 seed, but possibly. But I think them adding Jaren Jackson Jr. to already 2 stars enough, like 2 elite players in Marc Gasol and Mike Conley, who I think are still elite. I think that means, or them adding Jaren Jackson Jr. can push for a playoff spot. I think they, out of the top 9, I think they'll do better than Phoenix next year, do better than Chicago, do better than New York, Cleveland, trying to think who else, Orlando definitely, Atlanta, Dallas, Sacramento. Yeah, I would definitely say Memphis. Brendan Colex, can the Raptors/76ers compete with the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals? I think the Raptors 100% can. I honestly think the Raptors can win the East this year. Sixers, I don't think so. I think the Celtics are definitely a lot better than the 76ers right now. It all depends on kind of how players develop for them, see how good Smith comes, how good Saric is in his, 3rd year now in the NBA, how Embiid's 2nd full year, like actual full year can be in the NBA. I guess this would be his 3rd full year if you count his rookie. No, I would say this would be his 2nd full year. Ben Simmons' 2nd year. We'll see how they develop. But I think the Sixers could push the Celtics to 6 games, but I can actually see the Raptors beating the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. I honestly think the Raptors can get the 1 seed this year, but yeah, I think it's gonna come between I think it's gonna be the Lakers. As much as I think the Houston, I don't know, it's gonna be Houston, the Lakers, and the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, and I think it's gonna be Boston and Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals. James Campusin X, do you like the Kevin Love signing? Now, I have a lot of mixed feelings about the Kevin Love signing because I'm pretty sure it's $30 million annually for 4 years, which he already had a year or 2 left on his deal. So he's going to be here till, he's 35, whatever, 34. But, I don't know. I don't really agree with giving him $30 million a year. I really don't think that was a smart deal at all. I would have honestly thought trading him would have been the best option. But, I mean, I guess his value isn't the best. You kind of got to see how he does a year. But $30 million, I think, is way overpaid. I think for what he's done in the past, like for Cleveland, no way he's a $30 million player. They paid him $30 million off his potential in Minnesota and what they think he could do with LeBron gone now, where he's kind of not going to be just the spot-up shooter that they made him to be, and he can kind of be more what he was in Minnesota. I mean, if he averages 25 and 11 this year, yeah, 30 mil was good enough for him. But if he averages 19 and 9, 20 and 10. I mean, 20 and 10 is still really good. If he could do that, I don't think that's 30 million worth. Maybe if he was 23, sure, but he's getting up there. I mean, they're not going to do their window isn't big for that much longer. I mean, their window isn't, they're not going to do anything for at least the next 4 years. So, yeah, you know what, sure. I mean, the signing doesn't hurt them. They're not going to have any other cap space because of the JR, Tristan Thompson, George Hill, Kyle Korver, all those contracts. They're not going to be able to do anything else. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt. 0000X, what is the most poorly run franchise in the NBA? I think it's the Hornets, but what do you think? Right now, if we're going to say right now, I'm going to say it's the Sacramento Kings. I would say the Hornets are definitely up there. Obviously the Knicks have been, I don't think they're one of the poorly ran franchises right now. I think they're on the way up. They're on the rise. I would say the Kings, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of how the Kings have ran their team. The Bojinka signing was honestly, I think, the worst signing of this offseason, giving him $7 million a year. Really didn't like that. I think up there with the Doug McDermott signing, I didn't like that for $8 million a year for 3 years too. Unless that isn't guaranteed by the 3rd year, but you get what I mean. I think it's the Kings. I think, yeah, you could definitely give an argument for the Hornets of how bad they've been drafting players. You can look at all the busts they've drafted. Cody Zeller, Marvin Williams was the Hawks pick. Cody Zeller, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. That's what, 2 top 5 picks right there. Frank Kaminsky, that I'm pretty sure somebody said the Celtics gave you 3 first-round picks for, and you said no. That's another bad signing. Malik Monk looked like the worst top 10 rookie last year, or top 12 rookie, or top whatever. I mean, I don't think he looked the worst. I still think he has promise, Malik Monk, but clearly they didn't draft the best player last year when there was some other players on the board, like a Donovan Mitchell. That's another fault. This year, Miles Bridges, I don't know. They could have had Shai Gilgeous, but they traded him for basically a 2nd-round pick. I mean, I don't know what's up with that, but I guess We'll see how good Miles Bridges. I know he looked pretty solid in the summer league. They have some nice guys like Kemba Walker, Malik Monk, Miles Bridges. That could be a good point guard, shooting guard, small forward future. They've literally just, that front court is a mess. They just traded Dwight Howard for Timothy Mozgov. That's how bad things have gone for them. When Dwight Howard actually had their second best season on the team last year, besides Kemba, he was their next best player. So yeah, I could say the Hornets. I would say the Kings. I think the Knicks were, but I think they're getting up there now. I mean, Atlanta hasn't been good lately, but Collins, Prince, Young gets me excited to see that future. So yeah, I would say the Kings, and if you want to see the Hornets, yeah. Also, people will say the Nets, but Sean Marks has done a incredible job since Billy Kings left. So if you want to say the Nets before like 2016, sure, but I think the Nets are on the way up as well. Ryan Bonacker asks, what are the chances of KD joining John Wall and Bradley Beal in DC now? People said there was some rumor that KD would heavily consider Washington and New York next offseason. I'm not going to say anything about New York. I doubt Kevin Durant's ever going to be in Nick. But if we want to say he's thinking about joining the Wizards, obviously he's from Maryland, and he has ties there to the DC area. I could see that, but there's a thing called cap space in the NBA, so they would have to do some trading to get around it. I would see them having to move. I think Kelly Oubre, they would have to trade him, or I think he's a free agent, so they can't bring him back. Or unless they gave him a contract this offseason. 1 second. Yeah, Kelly Oubre is going to be a free agent this year. Otto Porter, they're definitely going to have to move. And then they're going to have to trade a first-round pick to Ian Mahinmi. Because they'll have Morris up this year. They'll have Rivers up this year. Dwight Howard's only making $5 million, and he's got a player option. I probably will opt in, unless he does really well this year. Imagine Dwight Howard and KD in the locker room. I do like the Troy Brown Jr. draft pick. So they'll have a decent amount of money up this year. They'll have at least 30 mil up this year in cap space. But I think they're going to have to package a first-round pick to get rid of Ian Mahinmi. And actually, they could probably still do it. Actually, no, John Wall's contract goes up by 20 mil after this season. Yeah, they're going to have to trade Otto Porter, which I think they could definitely find a trade partner. I don't know if anybody's going to be excited about his $28 million player option in 2020 and 2021. He's a good player. I don't think it's worth that much. But yeah, I would say they would have to do some trading. I think Kevin Durant joining the Wizards, if he's so set on leaving Golden State, I could honestly see pretty good odds of him joining the Eastern Conference next year. Okay, this isn't a NBA question, but I'm just going to bring this up now. Jordan X, are you going to bring back your second channel? And I think, yes, in 2K19, I'm going to do a My League when that game comes out. I just don't want to do another My League series right now. I'm kind of just enjoying my summer. Hasn't been too stressful, and I think, why not just make my life? My life's going to be so stressed come fall anyway, because I got school coming up. I got 5 pretty tough classes, 17 credits, I believe it is, which is going to be a little bit rough for me. YouTube, obviously trying to still do that full-time. Well, not like full-time job, but like every day, daily upload. Obviously, if I do a second channel, that'll be rough. I do plan on pledging a frat, so that's going to take up a lot of time. So yeah, honestly, my fall semester is going to be one of the most stressful times of my life. Anyway, might as well make it a little more stressful. Who cares? But yeah, I probably will be bringing back my second channel in 2K19 with the My League, whatever team I feel like doing when that game comes out. So for all you guys that just been wanting that My League series, don't worry. I think one will be coming out in 2K19. Might make it a stream series to make it a little bit less stressful to me. I don't know yet. Custom Fro X, top 5 current NBA players. Now, I'm going to actually change his question to top 10 because I just feel like doing my top 10. I haven't kind of expressed the list in a while. Probably going to tweet it out in a day or two of what it's going to be. So number 1 is LeBron James, but I'm actually excited to see this year. I think this could be LeBron's last year as the best player in the NBA. I know that sounds crazy, but I honestly think there's a good chance that going into the 2019-2020 season, that Kevin Durant could be the best player in the NBA. I don't know. I don't know how much. We'll see what LeBron does this year, but it may take 2 or maybe 3 more years for LeBron to give up that number 1 spot. So I think he's the best player in the NBA, like most people should. Number 2, Kevin Durant. That also should be kind of the given, and that's what everyone should think. Now, here's what gets interesting for 3, 4, and 5. Now, 3, 4, and 5, I know what players I want to put here. Just kind of I changed the order a lot. So the 3 players are Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and Steph Curry. Now, I always change them. Like, I'll put Kawhi Leonard at 3. I'll put him at 5. I'll put Curry at 4. I'll put him at 3. I'll put him at 5. Same with James Harden. For this list, I'm just going to say Curry at 3, Kawhi at 4, Harden at 5. But if you want to switch them, that's okay. I haven't really figured out. Like, I'm going to make a full top 25 players list, in my opinion, going into the next season. Somewhere in late August, or probably September, so you can be on the lookout for that, but that's just right now. I'll just leave it at those. Now, number 6, I'm going to say Anthony Davis. Yes, I still think Kawhi, Harden and Curry are better than Anthony Davis. Number 6 is Anthony Davis. Number 7 is Russell Westbrook. For people to say he's not top 10, he is. I still think he's the second best point guard in the league. Still think he's better than Kyrie Irving. And yeah, I don't think Kyrie Irving is nowhere near top 10. I still think that. Number 7, yeah, Westbrook. Number 8, DeMarcus Cousins. I think healthy DeMarcus Cousins is the best center in the NBA, and I think he's the 8th best player when healthy, but it's going to be interesting to see how he comes back from the Achilles injury this year. 9, actually, no. I'm putting him at 9. Number 8 is going to be Giannis. Yeah, Giannis I think is better than Cousins. He just kind of escaped from my head there. So yeah, Giannis at 8, Cousins at 9. 10, Chris Paul. If I had to get into like 11, it'd be interesting. It'd probably be between like Embiid, Paul George, and then like you get into like Kyrie, DeRozan area. Jimmy Butler, yeah. So that's my top 10. It's LeBron, KD. I'll just say Curry, Kawhi, Harden for this video, and then Anthony Davis, Westbrook, Giannis. Giannis could pass Westbrook after this year, but I think Westbrook's now getting too much hate. But Westbrook at 7, Giannis at 8, Cousins at 9, and then Chris Paul at 10. Okay, so for the last question, it's actually an interesting one from Matthew Bottom. He goes, rank these teams, Wizards, Bucks, Pacers, and why. So, number 1 out of the 3, I'm going to go Milwaukee Bucks. Number 2, Indiana Pacers. 3, the Wizards. I'm actually intrigued to see the Wizards this year. I actually think they could be better than the Pacers. Yes, the Pacers got better in the offseason, adding Kyle O'Quinn, Doug McDermott, Tyreek Evans. I mean, signing players doesn't make you worse unless you're signing a certain player that just doesn't fit your offense at all, or making a trade like the Thunder did for Melo last year. That kind of made them worse. But I would say, yeah, the Wizards are... I think the Wizards could be better than the Pacers. I think, like, the Bucks aren't getting talked about enough. I think the Bucks might be the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. I think that's, like, their peak. I don't know if I could see them passing Toronto and Boston, but I really like Milwaukee this year. I'm super high on them. I'm going to throw a lot of money on them to be a top 3 seed or a top 4 seed guaranteed in the Eastern Conference. I think just Giannis, them losing Parker doesn't hurt them a lot. They've added Brook Lopez. It's going to be interesting to see who their go-to center is there between Brook, Thon, and John Henson. They obviously have Bledsoe and Brogdon and Middleton, and then Giannis. That core 4 is really good. Losing Jabari doesn't make them better, but, I mean, I don't think it's a huge loss for them. Pacers, still, like, everyone's so big on Victor Oladipo, especially CSB. I'd say we got to slow the hype train down a tad bit. It's his first elite year. We got to see what he does next year. And then I think they're, just based off last season, that's the reason alone that they're better than the Wizards. And the reason also I like Milwaukee a lot is because of Mike Budenholzer coming to them in the offseason. So yeah, that is going to come off for my 4th Q&A, I think. So if you guys are enjoying the Q&As, let's see if we can hit 1,000 likes on this video. I'd really appreciate you guys showing love on the non-rebuild videos. Later today, you guys are going to be getting a live stream. It's probably going to be... I don't know what it's going to be yet. It might be a rebuilding challenge, might be a 2019 realistic, fantasy rebuild, one of those 3. So yeah, that will be coming out later today, so make sure you check it out around 6 Eastern time, 6:30, maybe 7, so around that area. Just be on alert. Just if you have notifications on, you shouldn't have a problem. So yeah, that's going to be for me. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy this other Q&A video. Like I said, just drop a like if you guys enjoy these, and I'll see you guys in later today's stream later today. Peace.